Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you a preview for the Chelsea versus Tottenham game at Stamford Bridge on Saturday 12:30 kickoff. Now of course both teams are fighting for that top four. You've got Chelsea sitting in fourth, just 1 point above Spurs. And of course, if Spurs were to win this game on Saturday, they would climb into the top four. Now, Chelsea, of course, won the reverse fixture earlier on in the season by 2 goals to 0 at, Tottenham's ground. So this game, Chelsea and Tottenham is actually, very hard to predict. Of course, Chelsea will want to get back to winning ways after they did lose 2-0 to us on Monday night. And of course, Tottenham did win their last league game against Aston Villa by 3 goals to 2, but they did lose in the Champions League yesterday to RB Leipzig by 1 goal to 0. So of course, Tottenham would also, want to bounce back from that defeat yesterday. Also going to give you some team news building up to the game. Of course, Tottenham have got quite a few injuries. Also to Chelsea have got quite a few injuries. So Chelsea's injuries are, they've obviously got Callum Hudson-Odoi out with injury. Also to Tammy Abraham is out with injury. He's an imperative player for Chelsea. I think he's a very, very good young upcoming player, is Tammy Abraham. Also to N'Golo Kante, now he is one of their imperative players. He came off injured, on Monday night. He had to be replaced by Mason Mount in the game. Don't know how severe N'Golo Kante's injury is though, haven't really delved into it. Also to Christensen had come off with injury in the game on Monday night, so he's also out. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is out with injury. Chelsea, have also got Marco van Dingle out. So Chelsea have got quite a few injuries. I think, Marco Alonso just recently come back from injury. Also, too, Christian Pulisic is out with injury. He also, wasn't playing on Monday. So I analysed that, Chelsea have had a lot of injuries this season. As for Tottenham, they've obviously got Harry Kane now injured. There's reports saying that, he could miss the European Championships this year. Of course, Human Son, I think, has broke his arm, and Jose Mourinho has confirmed he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So he's also out for Tottenham with injury. And they've also, I think, got Sissoko out, and I think he's out until April. Don't forget, Ben Davies, I think, just recently come back from injury for Tottenham. So both teams have got injuries. But I'm going to predict in this game, I think I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to end a draw because I can't, really predict a winner in the game. By the way, it is Jose Mourinho is reuniting at Stamford Bridge. This is going to be his first time at Stamford Bridge as Tottenham manager. Of course, Jose Mourinho endured 2 spells with Chelsea as a manager before, and he won like 3 Premier League titles with them. And I think he also won the FA Cup, did Jose Mourinho, during his 2 spells he did endure with Chelsea. He did end up getting sacked by Chelsea, did Jose Mourinho, because obviously it was something to do with the club's doctor, so I think that's the main explanation why he got sacked. Jose Mourinho is he's got a fantastic pedigree. He's won a lot of trophies. I think he's won 25 major honours so far in his managerial career. And obviously, don't forget, he did enjoy 2.5-year tenure at Manchester United. Did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season, but didn't work out for Jose Mourinho at Man United. Don't forget, he was at Milan, he was at Porto, where I think he'd won the Champions League, didn't he? Don't forget, he was also at Real Madrid. So Jose Mourinho's managed a hell of a lot of clubs. And I don't think he's done brilliant with Tottenham, to be quite honest with you. When Tottenham first recommended Jose Mourinho win, he enjoyed a very, very good start. Then it went a bit downhill, but, to be fair, they have had some pretty decent results under Jose Mourinho. Obviously, as you all know now anyway, fifth place is a Champions League spot, and reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons, and I don't see Manchester City getting this ban overturned. So with City getting this ban, it's a lot of good news for the teams that are outside of the top 4, such as my club, Man United, Tottenham, Everton, Sheffield United, Arsenal and that. So it has opened a lot of doors reflecting on this ban. But I do probably believe, Tottenham are probably going to finish within the top 6 this season, definitely. Jose Mourinho, of course, made 2 signings. He's made 2 signings so far as Tottenham manager. Of course, Tottenham signed Jedson Fernandes from Benfica, I think they've got him on an 18-month loan. I think there is an option to buy after the loan though. I think he seems to have done well for Tottenham since he's come in. Also, too, they did sign Bergwijn from PSV. Don't forget he scored on his debut against Manchester City. Did you know Steven Bergwijn, did really, really well. I think he's a good signing for Tottenham, is Steven Bergwijn. So, and also they did make the deal permanent for Giovanni Lo Celso. So far, Jose Mourinho has made 2 signings. Going to be interesting to see, how Jose Mourinho does in the summer transfer window, because he obviously, want to, make further more investment in Tottenham's squad. Because analysing the vast majority of that team, it isn't Jose Mourinho. Quite a few of them players, are Mauricio Pochettino's. And a few of Tottenham's players, did leave as well in January. Take that into account. Danny Rose, of course, went out on loan to Newcastle. Of course, Tottenham lost Christian Eriksen to Inter Milan after Christian Eriksen endured, was it around 7 years, was it, with Tottenham? But now he is officially an Inter Milan player. So Tottenham, of course, have let quite a few of their players go. But, I think they've got some good players in their team of Tottenham. They'll be infuriated, with Heung-min Son being out, because I think Heung-min Son has been one of their best players this season. I don't think he's overall a better player than Harry Kane and Dele Alli, because they're 2 of Tottenham's main stars. But I think, this season, Heung-min Son has definitely been one of, Tottenham's best players. I do also rate Lucas Moura a lot. He can score goals, and he can also provide assists and that. I think one of the mistakes Tottenham did make was, getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. I don't think they should have got rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino endured a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. And the main explanation why they'd sacked him, because, they had endured a very difficult start to this season. This is why they'd sacked Mauricio Pochettino. But I still felt as though he did really, really well. With Tottenham last season, he progressed them to their first ever Champions League final. Of course, maybe they're not going to get to the Champions League final this season because, of course, they're now 1-0 down against RB Leipzig, but they can definitely overcome a 1-goal deficit, can Tottenham. He also got them to a couple of, third place finishes. I think also got them runners up in one season. So, analysing the vast majority of Mauricio Pochettino's tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. There was, and then in the last couple of years of his tenure, Tottenham, became title contenders, because Tottenham, on a couple of occasions, have come close, to winning the title. I think the closest they came was in the season when Leicester, currently won the Premier League. But, Jose Mourinho, reuniting at Stamford Bridge. And as for Chelsea, and Frank Lampard, I do believe that Frank Lampard has got a huge predicament ahead of him now. I don't feel as though he's the right manager, to elevate Chelsea forward, despite the fact that he knows Chelsea Football Club inside out. Because obviously, he was a great long-serving player for Chelsea for around 13 years. Their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals. But he was a very, very good player. But I just don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager, is Frank Lampard. He only began his managerial career last season with Derby, but he did progress Derby to the playoff final. But, Chelsea are in a bad vein of form. Realistically, if Chelsea hadn't been as bad as they have, realistically, Chelsea would have been getting into that top 4. And I don't think any other team, would have been in that top 4 race, with the amount of games Chelsea, with the amount of points Chelsea have dropped this season. But it is only Frank Lampard's first season. I think, Chelsea will be determined to give him time, to obviously, spend money in the summer and that. Obviously, Chelsea have officially got their first signing on the board under Frank Lampard. As you all know, they signed Hakim Ziyech from Ajax for around, 33 or 34 million pounds. He's going to be going to Chelsea in the summer. And I think he is a very, very good signing for Chelsea, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Is Hakim Ziyech. So that's their first signing under Frank Lampard. Obviously, I think this is Frank Lampard and Jose Mourinho's second meeting, of course, as managers. Obviously, Mourinho's been managing for several years. Lampard only began his managerial career last season. So this is their second meeting, Frank Lampard and Jose Mourinho's. But, and Frank Lampard has been beaten by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now 3 times, And like I said, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, his record against Chelsea has been very, very good, because, we have beaten Chelsea 4 times. Chelsea, though, I think they made a mistake last summer by getting rid of Eden Hazard, because, Eden Hazard was one of Chelsea's best players. Eden Hazard endured around 7 years with Chelsea. he did enjoy around 7 years with Chelsea, and he was their best player without a shadow of a doubt. Chelsea will look at it from a financial point of view, saying, look, he was one of our best players, but we got a substantial amount for him. We got a good 140 or 150 million pounds for Eden Hazard. Yeah, of course, Chelsea did get a transfer ban at one point for tapping him out around minors, but they did get this transfer ban upheld, so they was very delighted about that. Were Chelsea, I do also believe in the summer Chelsea will consider getting rid of players, but they have got good players in their team of Chelsea, like I mentioned. I like that Kante a lot. A very good midfielder, won the Premier League in his first season with Leicester, won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea. Also, too, Barkley, I haven't really watched much of him, so I don't really have a perception on him. I don't think Alonso's bad. I like that Tammy Abraham a lot, that Callum Hudson-Odoi. Williams good, Pedro's good. But yeah, Chelsea have got a really, really good team, definitely. And like I mentioned, Chelsea have made quite a few mistakes over the years. They've sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time of Chelsea. I think they made the correct decision by sacking Maurizio Sarri last season, despite the fact that Maurizio Sarri got Chelsea to the League Cup final. He also won the Europa League with Chelsea. That got Chelsea automatic qualification for the Champions League. Chelsea have got Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and that's going to be a very, very difficult game for them. I don't see a lot of Chelsea fans thinking that they're going to get out of that game. So he only enjoyed one season with Chelsea, did Maurizio Sarri. Yes, he did, and now he's at Juventus, and he's under pressure at Juventus. But I just don't think his philosophy was right for Chelsea, Maurizio Sarri's. I think they made a mistake getting rid of Antonio Conte. He won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea, did Antonio Conte. They shouldn't have got rid of him. Of course, they got rid of Jose Mourinho. They got rid of Di Matteo. They got rid of Gus Higgins. They got rid of Rafa Benitez, Avram Grant, Scarari, Villas-Boas. Chelsea did win the Champions League under Villas-Boas' guidance. They got rid of Ancelotti back in 2010, despite the fact he won the double. So Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. And like I mentioned, Man United we've sacked 3 managers in the last, 6-7 years? Well, we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Mourinho. But I think Chelsea in the last 5-6 years have sacked more managers than Manchester United, definitely in that. And Chelsea, probably, will finish. I think they probably will finish in the top 4 this season, to be fair. Obviously, they're still in the Champions League. They are still in the FA Cup. Obviously, they've got Liverpool in the 5th round. That's going to be a difficult game for them. But, they could have the advantage, Chelsea, because obviously, the FA Cup isn't a priority for Liverpool and Klopp. It'll be interesting to see how Klopp approaches the game. He'll probably play some of the youngsters, play some of the first teamers and that. So, reflecting on that, then maybe Chelsea, could have the advantage to win that. So they are still in the FA Cup, they are still in the Champions League, so they have got quite a few ambitions. Chelsea, definitely, they've got quite a few ambitions, but they have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time, definitely. But it is the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday, and I am going to predict a 2-2 draw. There's also a few other big games this weekend. Leicester going up against Manchester City. Both teams are fighting for runners-up in the Premier League. City are 4 points ahead of Leicester now because they beat West Ham yesterday 2-0. Also, too, there's Arsenal and Everton. That's also another very, very big game. But probably the best game of the weekend is probably, either the Chelsea-Tottenham or, the Leicester-Manchester City game, So, yeah. So that's your preview, for the Tottenham and the Chelsea and Tottenham game. Obviously, I've been keeping up to date, of what's been going on with my club, Manchester United, and that. I gave my preview, didn't I, for the Club Brugge Man United game, was it yesterday or the day before? Because obviously, we play Club Brugge tonight in the Europa League knockout stage, first leg at the Jan Bradel Stadium. And, obviously, Solskjaer come out in his press conference and give us, some team news and the injuries and that yesterday. Obviously, there's going to be no Rashford. Solskjaer said, Rashford is touch and go to play again this season. He's going to be out for at least the next couple of months, is Rashford. Not going to be participating in the Euros if he's not going to be fully fit by then. So it's likely Rashford's going to be out for the rest of the season. Pogba isn't close to returning like Solskjaer confirmed. Mason Greenwood's been absent from training, so he's not going to be involved. Solskjaer has named he's I think 19 players have travelled. Obviously, some of the youngsters has been, some of the youngsters haven't gone. Rotation is key as well, because obviously, with the games we've got coming up, I think we've got like 7 games in 21 days. So obviously, Solskjaer is going to have to rotate the squad a lot. It's likely this evening that Odin Gallo will also be starting, which is very, very good. I think realistically, Solskjaer should have started Odin Gallo in the game against Chelsea on Monday. But Solskjaer will make a lot of changes from the 2-0 win against Chelsea on Monday night. And I said the Europa League's a priority for Man United. It's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board, and it's also a chance of us, getting qualification for the Champions League. So this is why the Europa League is imperative. And we won it a couple of years ago. We won it under Jose Mourinho's guidance. We beat Ajax in the final 2-0. And I think we are regarded as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. But, the Europa League is an opportunity, for the youngsters, because we have got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. So that's also very, very good in that. I think Solskjaer should realistically stick with the 3-5-2 formation, because from my own perception, we look more expansive with 3 at the back. We look a lot more expansive with 3 at the back, don't we? I don't think that 4-2-3-1 formation suits our standards, and I know Solskjaer's been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. Solskjaer got asked about the question, with us going with the 3-5-2, and it has obviously been working in the last couple of games, and in the games we've gone with that formation this season, we've done really, really well, but we seldom go with that 3-5-2. Solskjaer, like I said, usually goes with a 4-2-3-1 formation, but I think we should stick with 3 at the back from my own perception. But don't get me wrong, a lot of United fans, have got different perceptions on it, so take that into account and that. But I think we'll progress past Club Brugge, it's at the Jan Bredal Stadium tonight in the first leg, Old Trafford on the 27th of February. Club Brugge are a poor European team, they're winless in their last 10 games against Premier League opposition. We're beating them 7-1 on aggregate back in 2015-16 season in the Champions League playoffs. So I think Manchester United are going to do this, definitely. And like I said, Tom Way could be involved tonight because he was training yesterday with the first team. Connor Stanley, he's a teenager. He was also training with the first team. Tuan Zebe has been back in training, which is very, very good news. Chong Gomez and Ghana, they could be involved. They weren't training with the first team yesterday because they were already in Belgium, I think, playing an under-19s game. So, but Solskjaer did come out with quite a few interesting stuff during his press conference. He also, praised Erling Haaland during the press conference. He's delighted with Erling Haaland because Erling Haaland told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he wanted to join Manchester United but never did. Because I think with us not being in Champions League football, that convinced him to change his mind to go and join Borussia Dortmund. Looking at it from a financial point of view, though, he would have been available for a reasonable figure, only being available for 18 million, because that's how much Borussia Dortmund did pay for him. So it's a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland, because at one point he was our number 1 priority target. Also praised Wan-Bissaka because he's become an integral part of our team since his arrival from Palace last summer. Wan-Bissaka's done, really, really well for us. Recently as well, we've seen the attacking side of his game, and this is what Solskjaer has been delighted with, because he doesn't, for the vast majority of the time he's been here so far, we haven't really seen much of him in terms of attacking intent, but defensively he's very, very good, is Wan-Bissaka. So Solskjaer did praise him. Andres Pereira, I think he's a liability, but he was in the press conference and he came out and said, look, he was asked about, Odin Gallo and Bruno Fernandes, and, he says they've both settled in really, really well. Obviously, the winter break was obviously, very beneficial, that 16-day winter break, because he said we had good training sessions, in Spain, Marbella, and Bruno Fernandes, of course, is adapting to a new team, and hopefully Odin Gallo can do the same thing. These are some of the stuff that Andres Pereira had come out and said, regarding, them two players. Bruno Fernandes I think should be involved tonight. May not start, but should be involved, so this will be his third appearance for the club, because he's already played twice for Man United and he's done really, really well in both of his games. Fernandes got an assist against Chelsea. Also, did really, really well in his debut against Wolves, created the most chances, had the most touches in the first half, so very, very delighted with that. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes done really, really well. So yeah, so these are some of the stuff that did get mentioned, during the press conference. We've got games coming up thick and fast. We've got Watford coming up this Sunday, Club Brugge in the second leg, Everton coming up, Man City. That's also going to be a very, very big game for us. So you've already seen the team news that I've already given you a build up to the game tonight. We'll be on for the match reaction tonight to the game and that. But hopefully, Manchester United can get the win, because that was a very, very good result against Chelsea. First time we've beaten them in the Premier League era since 2012. First time we've done the double over them in the Premier League era and that. And we seldom win at Stamford Bridge, to be quite honest with you. But hopefully now we can build momentum and we can go on a good winning run, because I said we can compete against the big teams like we've done this season, because we've had good results against the big teams, but against lower opposition, we just haven't really seemed to replicate that. But yeah, like I said, right back to what I said tonight, Solskjaer made quite a lot of changes from the 2-0 win against Chelsea. Also, on the other hand, he will rest some key players for the game against Watford. So it'll be interesting to see how Solskjaer approaches this game tonight. Definitely will be interesting to currently see how he approaches it. But Manchester United do need to win this game. I think Daniel James also needs to be dropped. I think Solskjaer's been overplaying him. Paul Merson's come out and said that James should be dropped for this game, because I think he's played around 31 games in all competitions so far this season. Bay perhaps could be involved, because he just made his return to the Premier League after being out injured for a while. Did really, really well against Chelsea. Maguire possibly could play, possibly could be rested. Scored his first Premier League goal for the club against Chelsea. Very, very good goal as well. But he will make a lot of alterations in the squad, definitely. I hadn't heard any news about Fosu-Mensah. Is he currently injured, Fosu-Mensah, if I'm right? Not too sure. I think he's still injured. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's your preview for the Tottenham-Chelsea game and everything else to update with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always. Take care, God bless. See you all again very, very soon.